I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
I'm happy because of being here today. Fuck you.
Come on, you want me to drive? No. You're supposed to be suicidal, remember? I'll
Anybody
drive.
a drive?
Let's get in the car.
Fucking shit. Fuck me in the fucking ass. Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt.
Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and we are pretty much at the end of 2025. The movies have been seen, and this year was abysmal for movies. Like I've said countless times. We did the best, yeah, but the reason why we're doing the worst after is because this year was awful. Like, wow. This was just as bad as 2013. This was just as bad. 2015, yeah, 2015 wasn't really a good year either. For movies, really. What else can I think? 2017, I think this might be tied with 2017 for movies. Yeah, this might have been just as bad as 2017 for movies. Like, really bad. Alright, what else can I think of? 2020 doesn't count. 2020 does not count for movies, guys. You know why. And I'd rather not talk about why. 2021, well, decent. Nah. 2021 wasn't too bad. Nah, forget it. 2021 was kind of decent. 2022, not a good year for other things, but that was a pretty good year for movies. 2023 was bad, but not as bad as this year, because even 2023 had way more good movies than this year did. And last year, 2024, was solid. There were still a lot of bad films, but it was a solid year. And that leads to this. Wow. I can list a lot of bad films this year, but let's keep some of them dishonorable mentions, and let's keep some of them top 11. Because that would be too long, so let's keep it simple. This is going to be for the top 11 worst piles of shit to come out in 2025. And these were the films that were insufferable. These were the films that were annoying. These were the films that were just either bland or lifeless, or way too overhyped for no reason, when they actually weren't that great as some were making them out to be. Or heck, a lot of these bad films are some of the top grossing films of the year. And we'll talk about that stuff later. So, we're now 2 minutes in. Let's get started with the top 11 worst movies of 2025, starting off with number 11 being a film that got dumped to Netflix. Alright, so kicking off at number 11 is going to be The Electric State. Even though, so what if this was supposed to be a fun movie? The source material is apparently not that. It's apparently not even fun. So I don't know why this needs to be, why an adaptation of some not fun source material needs to be turned to a fun movie. Directed by the guys who did Cap the Winter Soldier, Avengers Infinity War, Cap Civil War. They go from those to fucking this. $320 million down the drain. $320 million. That costed to make this. And how? How was that possible? Anyway, the scenes that are supposed to apparently be dramatic felt just so bad. The acting in this movie was terrible. I mean, like, Millie probably gives her worst performance of her career yet in this movie. And you can tell which scenes were reshot. You can tell which scenes which scenes had her changed appearance. You could tell those were the reshot parts. Miscast playing this kid character because she's like now 21 years old or something, but I think so, and is now an adopted mom as well. So by this year, it would feel playing this teen character now feels awkward, and her character is lifeless. Has either the same facial expressions all her scenes, has no personality, was a boring lead character to watch, has a subplot with this robot brother that's a knockoff of Big Hero 6, which was a better film than this movie. They also knock off Ready Player One with the concept of this. And instead of just trying to be about Chris Pratt's way more interesting character, it's about this boring lead character that nobody gives a shit about. And that's another problem. Another problem is that the one interesting character of the movie has this robot friend that's voiced by Anthony Mackie, who's one of the most annoying robots since Skids and Mudflap. It pretty much comes off as this AI SpongeBob. At one part is even badly singing "I Fought the Law," which I actually like that song. And stuff like this could have went if it was about Pratt's character, this could have went into interesting territory, but nah. We're gonna rip off Big Hero 6, cost $320 million to make, throw that all down the drain. Waste the Russos, who, by the way, haven't really that much good directing credits. They've had some good producing credits since Endgame, but not good directing stuff. It's exactly what's grown to expect from a film starring a lot of the Stranger Things Illuminati or a generic cash-in on the name alone. And all the $320 million went to waste because nobody watched the movie. Since it got dumped to Netflix. Yeah. These guys just love throwing their money away or something to make garbage like this. Probably. Alright, let's move on to number 10. Kicking off at number 10, it's going to be for one that's going to cue all the knives and pitchforks. But there are worse films than this, so it's at number 10. But if this was for the top most overrated films of the year, this would be higher on the list. This was a film that I did not understand the hype for. Why apparently everybody really loved this remake so much and thought it was one of the best things of the year. That's going to be 2025's The Live Action How to Train Your Dragon. Yes, it's on the list. I'm not taking it off the list. I'm keeping it on the list. It's not going anywhere. It's going to stay on the list because I did not like it. Alright? That's going to make people mad, but I don't care. There's only one reason this is even liked. I feel like people only like this remake is because it's not made by Disney, and because everyone loves DreamWorks currently, so they're probably just loving it for that reason alone, despite the fact that it kind of repeats a lot of the problems of other remakes. Do you want to know why? Because this is the same exact movie, shot for shot. So if Psycho 98 does it, it's wrong. If Owen 2006 does it, it's wrong. If Cabin Fever 2016 does that, it's wrong. If The Lion King 2018 does that, it's also wrong. But apparently if this does the same thing as those, apparently it's yay! This was amazing! 10 out of 10! Cinema! This did the same thing as those! How is this great? How is this such a great remake? And don't go saying, because it was the same exact movie. That's exactly what I don't like. Being shot for shot is not automatically... Being the same movie is not automatically good. If this was a Disney remake, people would probably hate it. Sure, it's not as bad as some recent Disney remakes, but it's still a shitty, lifeless shot-for-shot Psycho 98 wannabe. With streaming CGI that just gives off Aragon vibes with the dragons. And apparently Dean DeBois, the creator of the animated series, was like, I wanted the new generation to experience the story again on the big screen by making the story all over again in live action. And if you want sheesh. Oh, I don't know. Maybe if they want to experience the story again, how about go just watch them on streaming? Is that so hard? Well, this is the world where we have to rely on nostalgia bullshit. And this got praise. This made a huge profit. And I can tell you, DreamWorks is going to start doing more of these. I can tell you that. They could probably are going to start more of this shit. They basically... Because guess what? It's Holly weird. Look at the gazillion Disney remakes now. Like, if the second film makes money, I can guarantee you they're probably going to start trying to remake all their other stuff. And do what Disney is doing. This movie, basically, yeah, like I've said, they take the same exact movie, make it 2 hours, make a film that was only 98 minutes long, 2 hours long, make the problems I had with the original a lot worse, actually. It repeats the problems I had with the original, except they make them all a lot, that makes some of the problems I had worse. So, kind of like with the character writing. Now, I like Mason in the Black Phone, but I'm sorry, I thought he sucked as Hiccup. He's not Jay Baruchel. He is not. He looks way too old for the character. And I'm sorry, I thought Nico Parker also sucked as Astrid. And ain't no America Ferrara. I'm sorry again. She ain't. And for those who thought Astrid was annoying in the first half of the original and didn't find their chemistry too believable in that version, well, guess what? They actually make Astrid in this film worse. Because basically, they make this Astrid a lot ruder, looks bored the entire film, and when she finds out the truth of Hiccup's lies, she barely sounds pissed at all when she says that's for the lies line, and just sounds more whatever. Have her saving rude stuff and not even the original Astrid in the first half would be that low to say. Well, let's give Snotlout this pointless subplot that with his dad that, oh, by the way, guys, was actually done better in the TV series. It was actually developed, not shoehorned in like this movie does. Let's make the twins look way too old. We'll make them more annoying this time and also a lot ruder. And even make a joke line about that too around the earlier first act of the film. Let's have the dragons look awkward designed. The Red Death looks like a fucking Godzilla reject. Look like made for streaming trash. Oh, and the final act. Let's get rid of Hiccup being the leader in the final act when taking down the Red Death, which was how his character development, which was kind of the point of his character development in the original in the first place. So basically, you just made his character development in this movie pointless at that rate. Now I have some good stuff. Nick Frost's Gober was not bad. Gerald Butler actually did a good performance as Stoic in this version. Fish Legs is the only one of the writers in this version that looks the most accurate to his original self. It's like, but still, if you want to show this series again to the new generation, how about just rewatch them all on streaming or Blu-ray? You don't need to remake the same movie again in live action form. God. And that's going to lead to another problem for DreamWorks if they probably go this route. Great. Now kicking off at number 9 is going to be Predator Ass Cracklands, Predator Badlands. Yes, another hot take on here. Here's a simple answer to this. How about stop making fucking Predator movies? Stop. Like, when I thought they can't stoop any lower than The Predator from 2018, which was sucked enough. We get this movie. And what they do to the Predator here is worse than either that or what they did with them in Prey. Here, our Predator basically looks like some over CGI teenager who apparently can't win one fight against either trees or plants or fucking knife grass of all things. Apparently gets his ass kicked quick by nature. When any real predator from the predators from the first two, like the City or Jungle Hunters, they would have stomped the shit out of all those trees. So it ain't shocked why on your planet you're an outcast and you're not liked by your clan. I'm not surprised. Because you suck at fighting. And whenever they try to give the predator emotional facial expressions, his face looks like he's either ready for a diaper, or to be the mascot of Huggies or Pampers, or sounds like a kid throwing a meltdown when he can't buy his favorite toy, or buy something at Hot Topic, has to basically team up with and get help from android played by Elle Fanning, who is tied to his back like a booty call majority of the film, and her evil sister is the baddie of the movie. And then also they adopt this Gorgu knockoff monkey called Bud. No, you're not Baby Yoda. You're not Gorgu monkey. Piss off. And apparently this monkey does more damage than this turn in the wind of a predator does it all. And apparently almost every Disney show also thought this was better than the original film. When... Just why? How is this better? How is this one of the best Predator movies of all time? They even repeated what the people hated about AVP. When that movie goes PG-13 but still takes the franchise somewhat seriously, that's wrong. But apparently if this movie goes PG-13, it's automatic 10 out of 10 thumbs up. That makes no sense. Really. It's fine for this movie to do it, but apparently it's wrong for one that actually takes the franchise seriously to do that. And here's the thing, even AVP 1 I'd rather watch over this. As much as I don't like that movie either, I'd rather sit through that over this ever again. Yeah. I probably would do that in the new Predators. What I just did, clear my throat, or maybe do that to the new Predator's face, he'd probably like it. And once again, if this was for the top overrated films of the year, this would also be just as high as number 10 would be. I'm done talking about Badlands. Let's move on to number 8. So kicking off at number 8 is going to be for a sequel from Blumhouse, and that is Megan 2.0, the ripoff of Terminator 2. The sequel to 2023's Megan that people who liked were hyped to see a new horror icon. But no, not here with horror. Instead, we just randomly changed genres for this one because that idiot Jason Blum was all like, when we created Megan, we didn't want her to be a villain for a franchise. We wanted her to become a hero. We wanted her to be like Superman. So we wanted people to like her. And we wanted a lot of great ideas to do with the character and make her a lot better. So we're gonna rip off Terminator 2. We're gonna have Katie and Gemma be a lot bitchier and more annoying than they were in the original movie. We're gonna have Megan make a bunch of cringy vagina jokes. We're gonna shove AI commentary in her face to piss you off. We're gonna be over 2 hours long. And then we're gonna give Megan a stupid self-sacrifice is pointless because she's gonna come back anyway. How on earth do you go from horror slasher in the same genre as Child's Play to this international super spy thriller trying to be Terminator 2? And the difference is Terminator 2 changed genres, but it still had horror in it. This has no horror. Every second the movie gets worse, more unhinged from reality, trying to expand the world of AI, the future dominated by machines. Instead of feeling like chilling dystopia, it's basically some toddler trying to eat too much sugar and trying to come up with some AI commentary themselves. The depiction of technology is so dumb and over the top, to a point where it's just a parody of itself. And we're supposed to believe that this version of the future, where humans are apparently a lot dumb in this world of the movie, is meant to be serious commentary. And it's an unintentional comedy, too. And knowing James Wan was involved in this, like, dude, stop doing this social commentary or art house shit, for crying out loud. You were the guy that directed the first 2 Conjuring movies. You were the guy that directed the first 2 Insidious movies that had jump scares like a demon appearing behind Patrick Wilson's shoulder, or act possessed in Chapter 2. You had a high clap jump scare in Conjuring 1. I mean, you were lucky with Furious 7, but stop trying to change the shit all the time. You directed quite a few jump scare horror films. You also directed the first Saw movie that had Carrie Elways chained to a bathroom pipe, cutting his own foot off. Or had a guy go through razor wires. That was your first famous film before you did Insidious and The Conjuring. You directed a film called Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon. You directed Dead Silence. Please stop trying to do this experimental shit already. Just stick to a genre and stay there. At this point. But that probably won't happen because Aquaman made money and Furious 7 made money. So, no, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. Calling this in would be generous. It's like trying to stretch a 5-minute idea for 2 hours of corporate bullshit. The story's predictability actually makes the first film, which the unrated version of the first one was better. The theatrical version, At this rate, I'm just gonna pretend Megan is a standalone movie. And you know, another thing, this movie bombed at the box office, rightfully so, like it deserves to. But apparently we're still getting a spin-off next year. And I don't know why. Makes no sense if this movie bombed, but hopefully after that we don't get any other Megan films. Now kicking off at number 7 is going to be for a 2D animated film, Fixed, from Sony Animation. Yeah, what Sony thinks, once again, is R-rated animation. Vulgar sex jokes, when R-rated animation isn't always that. You know, there's been quite a few successful animes this year that were very adult, like Chainsaw Man or Demon Slayer. I am not familiar with the source material, hence why I didn't watch them. Because I can't just go watch and review something if I'm not familiar with if I'm not too familiar with the source material or never read a manga. Otherwise, I wouldn't really know much about it or the characters that way. Jenny spent a whole lot of years making this edgy adult animated comedy about dogs that basically takes elements from Stray, takes elements from that awful Ren and Stimpy reboot called Adult Party Cartoon, and mushed it all together and turned it into this. On paper, the blending of genres maybe could work, but in Jenny's film, it's badly executed. That's unfortunate because it's a waste opportunity for adult-oriented animated cartoon films, and no, R-rated animation is not about swearing at sex jokes and trying to be South Park. There are plenty of adult anime movies that are good for having effort and creativity, and having a well-matured story without that. The plot of this is, our lead character loves his balls. He's going to lose his balls. So he has to go on one more night with his balls to live it all out. Literally, the whole movie is jokes about his balls. From basically, like, the movie starting off with him humping an old lady's leg for like 10 minutes to start off the movie, to a bunch of sex jokes. I feel like they came from the dark side of DeviantArt, involving two Lady and the Tramp characters in the park bit, squirrels getting ripped apart, some rats nibbling the main lead's balls, a strip club sequence, 2 of them. This got liked by a lot of people probably just because it's 2D animated. So what how it's animated? Just because it's 2D animated doesn't mean it's good. It does not automatically make something good. No. And yes, once again, I feel sorry for the animators who got death threatened with this. I'm not trying to bash the animators, guys. I would never death threaten the animators, okay? I'm bashing the movie because I just think the movie sucks. I just think it's not funny. I think it's cringy. I think it's obnoxious. The animators should not be blamed for this movie at all. They really should not. Just because they made a movie you don't like doesn't mean go threaten them over it. That's actually way too childish. At least I have reasons I hated the film. I don't know what else to talk about with Fixed. Let's move on to number 6. Kicking off at number 6 is going to be for another remake, and this time it's one of 2 from Disney on this list. Lilo and Stitch, 2025. One of 2 live-action Disney remakes on this list. Apparently this was a film that wasn't even supposed to go to theaters. It was going to be dumped Disney Plus, but apparently for some weird reason, Disney decided, yeah, this movie, this is good for theaters. Let's put it in theaters instead. Instead of Disney Plus, why don't we get this movie to cinemas? So apparently this cheap-ass, poor CGI'd, over fast-forwarded remake went to theaters, made over $1 billion at the box office because of all the Disney shows being nostalgia-obsessed. I don't know how the hell this was worthy of $1 billion. You can tell this was made for streaming. By seeing all the trailers, you can tell this was originally supposed to be a dump-to-stream movie, and it shows. Like, why change the story? It was great the first time. Gantu? Yeah, he's not in the movie, because apparently he's too expensive. We can't put him in the movie. That costs money. This whole movie looks cheap as shit. Stitch apparently barely sinks in the water until, near the end of the film. They make Jumba the villain, which goes against the story and the character. Not all scenes for the original are included, like the fight between Jumba and Stitch, or passing the gun back and forth, or the duck scene. The movie does more wrong, too. Now, the actress for Lilo was good. Don't get me wrong on that. But they make the character of Lilo such a troublemaker who is actually willing to break laws on private property and actually makes things a lot worse for her sister in this version, who, by the way, also they ruin Nani as well. They basically make it look like she doesn't actually care at all about Lilo. Whereas in the original, whenever she made things worse for her sister, those were by accident. Here, it looks like they're done on purpose a lot of times. Let's have a fart joke where Stitch farts in a bowl of punch. They have a lot of scenes that feel like they were put on fast forward mode in the first half, like where he escapes so you don't get to remember any of the scenes. And when Stitch nearly dies for the dizzy death, they basically repeat the same exact climax as the direct-to-DVD sequel Stitch Has a Glitch, where Lilo holds onto him and her love for him restores him. They basically do the same thing as that again, except this time it's with jumper cables and it's on a beach. Other times he used water in the water in this version he survives, but in the finale he nearly dies when he rescues Lilo, so it's weird. The script is a drag, the flow of the story is poor, disjointed, abrupt, the movie does not care about the message of Ohana, it even disrespects Ohana, they make Nani too selfish, doesn't know how to be subtle, because in the end, Nani decides to throw her sister to the government to go to college, in California of all places. Yeah, apparently that's a better idea, but apparently can teleport with a gun to go to them anytime, so why go to college then? Plus, what if the government with Lilo moves out of Hawaii? You probably won't get them back at all. So, thank you. And this is supposed to be a happy ending. Who cares? This is a stupid fucking movie. Should have never been made, and should have never went to cinemas in the first place. But apparently it was good enough for cinemas. And we will never know why. Now, kicking off at number 5 is going to be from more Bumhouse. The Woman in the Yard. If it had not been for another horror film just a lot worse, I'd put this higher on the list. This movie was pathetically awful. There was no plot. It was just boring and bad from start to finish. All most of the movie is a family in a no-power house. They're sitting by a window. A woman in a hood staring at them. Or a woman arguing to death. Or refusing to just get up and leave, which the son even tries to do. But the mother's like, no, you're not leaving. You're staying in the house and that's final. She acts abusive and rude to her kids. Even gets revealed that apparently she caused her husband's death. And it's yet another movie given the whole artsy depiction of grief because we have other, 10,000 gazillion other movies dealing with that. And unlike movies by talented directors who know what they're doing there, who can actually convey that themes well on the screen because they actually have effort and experience, this movie doesn't do any of that. It still relies on the cheap Bumhouse scares, choppy editing, and lackluster script, and you get a mixture of nonsense, art house drivel, director Hugh Bree. And after 40 boring-ass minutes in, I was almost ready to fall asleep. And by the end, barely paying attention. Or the ending as well, guys. The message of the movie is insulting. And one of the worst portrayals of it. To viewers who go through loss and depression. Basically, the ending says that it's better if somebody's going through loss and depression from losing somebody they love, they should kill themselves. And not try to move on and abandon any family they have left. Yeah, moving on is hard, but the message that the person should just commit to take the suicide way out, that's disrespectful. That is disgusting. That is insulting. And it's offensive. And just a horrible moral for audiences. This might as well be the Dear Evan Hansen of horror movies. And yeah, this movie also bombed. And only made $9 million opening weekend, finished with a lousy $22 million. Because nobody went to go see the film! R.I.P. for that. Not really. Good, I'm glad it did. I'm glad no one went and saw that trash. I watched it on streaming, no way I watched that in the theater. Now it's time to move on to our number 4 pick. So kicking off at number 4 is going to be for what was originally at number 3 until another equally bad horror movie came out. And it's time for some brain rot, because there's a lot of that in this movie. Number 4 is going to be...
Chicken jockey.
Friendship is the wish you make when you're blowing out the candles on your birthday cake. Don't be a bully and don't be a brute. Time to put on your birthday suit. Today is the best, it's the day you were born. Time for us to blow the birthday horn. Boom, boom, da, 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 da.
A Minecraft TikTok brain rot movie. Ugh. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why this originally went to the number 3 spot. This was just so bad. This was one of the most annoying, obnoxious movies I ever saw in my life. This film was not just bad either. This was a film that actually exposed the bad side of TikTok. And as you saw in the intro to this, it caused problems for the cinema industry. I'll explain more of those later. Like, who wrote this script? Elementary kids? The story is so lame. There is no tension, characters are either generic or annoying, no laughs, either screaming like an idiot or running around in a CGI world, some stupid and unnatural dialogues and stupid designs in the Minecraft world. Like, there are a gazillion loads of butt jokes. I can't count them because they're like all over the place in the movie. And like, one joke I do remember, there's one point in the film where Jason Momoa and Jack Black do this thing called the 69th position, which has Jack Black's crotch near Jason Momoa's face when they're flying through a hole on a little hang glider. And later, he literally asks why his beard smells like either cheese or Gouda. One of those. Ugh! This is a kid's movie? How is this for kids? Yeah, of course kids are gonna get that joke. Man, this literally felt like the Cat in the Hat 2003 again. Jack Black's character, Steve, like, because his name is Steve, people. Yeah, because this whole film has to be a damn meme now. Everything has to be such a damn meme. He's also really unlikable and actually annoying. Like, because basically how he gets in the Minecraft world, he basically breaks the law by committing a felony. He basically trespasses on a mine he clearly has no experience for because after he ate some TV dinners, which, yeah, are gross, you should not eat them, they're bad for your health, don't eat them. I remember that part in a earlier YouTuber's rant that sadly got terminated earlier this summer. Jason Momoa's character comes off as a douchebag poser. You have this landlord and sister. Emma Myers gives a pretty decent performance, but her and the landlord have basically no connection to the plot. Our villain is a joke with a stupid backstory on why she hates creativity. It's because she got laughed at a talent show, and that's why she became evil. This whole movie turned to a meme because everything needs a meme. Like, these are memes that weren't just annoying memes. These were annoying memes that caused obnoxious Minecraft fans to storm into the cinemas, yell like 2-year-old toddlers over scenes they love or things from the game they love, smash and break shit over the scenes they memed all over the cinemas, like either launch firecrackers, stab people, shoot guns. I don't think they shot guns, but they brought firecrackers and they did stab a person. Body slam employees. Or just dance around or strip off their shirts or throw food all over the place and trash the whole cinema. Over the whole chicken jockey scene. At that point, like, it led to multiple arrests and it led to multiple kickouts. And because of that, this film made money. So guess what, guys? You don't want to see a sequel? Well, too bad. We're getting a sequel in 2 years now. Because of this. I can't wait for more of this shit to happen. Great, I wonder how more dangerous the reactions to the sequel are gonna be. Like, people thought they were gonna do this stuff over Joker when that film came out. Well, that didn't happen. Instead, this happened over Minecraft. And no reactions like that happened over Joker. Convenience. Can't wait for more of this straight dangerous stuff to happen in 2 years again. I'm really not. So kicking off at number 3 is going to be for The Strangers Chapter 2. This is a film I warned people was going to be a lot worse than Chapter 1. Chapter 1 was like right near the top 3. This one is in the top 3. It's the other half of the shitty 2024 remake from last year. Do you think they can't make things worse than Chapter 1? Well, Chapter 2 actually is a lot worse. This is basically a movie where the whole time, the strangers try to think they're either Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees, chase the lead girl who is apparently not dead from her injuries from the last one, and apparently can walk totally fine in almost a lot of her scenes, and never collapse, never die from any stabs the strangers give her, and somehow the strangers apparently know this person's still alive, and apparently just magically show up anytime she's near a character. Like, anytime a side character shows up, the strangers kill them before they even get a role. It's like these people suddenly know where she is, and apparently they know she's still alive. Like, we never know why anybody tells them, and Maya was an annoying character in the first film, and she should have died in the previous one as well. Both her and the boyfriend should have died. I couldn't connect with the characters, the storyline is poor, it's pointless. Like, surprised people didn't know from Chapter 1 that this was going to be a lot worse. Like, this is not just one of the worst films of the year. This is probably one of the worst horror films ever, and they expect you to want a Chapter 3 after this film bombed. Like, yeah, February 2026, we're getting Chapter 3, people. At least we're getting it earlier. So this shit can hopefully be over after that. But good luck getting anybody to watch Chapter 3. Like, from the very beginning, there was no flow, no continuity, from the hospital stuff to the wild CGI bore, the flashbacks of one of the strangers being this little girl. Everything's so poorly written and poorly acted in this movie. And apparently the strangers get a backstory how this whole Tamara shit started. Apparently the Tamara they're talking about was this rival classmate of theirs they got all jealous of, and they killed with a brick for no reason because they were jealous of them getting more attention. Wow! I'm surprised they didn't give more backstories like that to actually good slasher characters. So basically, if you thought that line was terrifying in the original, yeah, guess what? After watching this movie, good luck after that. Because this movie further ruins it for you now. Good luck being scared over the original after watching this. Good luck getting anybody to watch Chapter 3 how this reception went, because this made less money than Chapter 1. Good luck getting anybody to go see Chapter 3. Alright, so kicking off at number 2 is going to be a film that either I wanted to put at number 1, but I remembered a much worse film than this, but this one is equally bad as that film. But I knew I couldn't really tie films, so I had to put this one at number 2, but this was for also a sequel, and this was like probably the worst sequel that came out this summer and this year. And it was also one that thankfully didn't go to theaters, but it went to Netflix. Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah, Happy Gilmore 2 is on this number 2. This was a movie. I also tried to warn people this was going to be horrible, this was not going to be good, this was going to fail, this was going to bomb, it was going to be panned. But some people thought this would be great, because they loved the first film so much. And then it came out, and just about a lot of people that were hyped for it realized it was shitty. Except when I saw it though, I knew it would be shitty, but it was actually worse than what I thought. Basically, the whole movie, after the first act, is basically just a bunch of annoying nostalgia-bait throwbacks. Hey, remember basically telling you, hey, remember Happy Gilmore 1? Hey, remember Happy Gilmore 1? Hey, remember Happy Gilmore? Happy Gilmore, Happy Gilmore, Happy Gilmore? Do you? Yeah, I do. If I want to remember Happy Gilmore, I have it on that shelf right there, below, and I'll just pop it on and watch it, and just watch it on my TV or Netflix. It's on a double feature DVD I have with Bill and Madison. Problem solved. I don't need to be reminded with the shitty film sad sack of a sequel bazillion times. They really did not need to do this film at all. This film tanked like a boat on a bunch of drug pills. This film, besides just the awful throwbacks, was plain horrifyingly bad. You bring back the old cast, you have these lousy twists where apparently Shooter McGavin is back, but for some weird reason, after him and Happy have a fight at a graveyard that also references a lot of other characters from the first film with their deceased actors, referencing all the other lines for more nostalgia. And apparently the one that played the lady that got struck by Happy's car near the retirement home is apparently alive in the grave, but they decide not to help her and they bail. And apparently they become friends after their fight. Yeah, apparently Shooter's a good guy now and is apparently now buddies with Happy Gilmore. And they team up to take down AI Golf. That gets lost in the crown of pathetic, terrible production of this film. Your CGI and the AI evil Golf looks like dog shit. The villains suck ass, like one of those played by Betty Safdie, who directed Uncut Gems, and is actually going to be voicing Bowser Jr. in Super Mario Galaxy. But the villains suck in this film. Their motives are dumb as shit, but making up this stupid Golf that nobody would watch. Let's have Happy Gilmore's sons be some of the most annoying frat boy, obnoxious piece of shit idiots that... These were characters that I seriously wanted somebody to go in and beat the snot out of every time they were on screen. Either maybe like moon their, like do their little moon ass screen to a bar, and then basically get basically punched by more bikers or gym bodybuilders. And oh, by the way, not only that, these four annoying sons also commit murder in a public golf course on Eminem's embarrassing attempt to be the late Joe's character, the jackass guy, which I'm sorry, Eminem is not a comedian. Eminem is not funny. He ain't. Christopher McDonald and Ben Stiller were fucking awful in this damn movie. Like, their performances were so phoned in, like, their acting was horrible. Happy Gilmore most of the film. Yeah, I remember Julie Bowen's character from the first film. Well, apparently, during one of Happy's games, she died. He accidentally killed her with one of his driving range moves. And then Happy Gilmore, the rest of the film, is either moping around, being a drunk loser, all his scenes, becomes a loser who actually kills his own wife, and then loses his grandma's house, so the original movie is now pointless. Constantly giving you annoying throwbacks to the first film, acting like the viewer's stupid and doesn't remember any of it. And we'll just even lazily redo scenes from the original that were actually done good in the original, like how Ben Stiller's character gets defeated. Same exact defeat as Shooter McGavin's defeat, where angry mob pursues him, beats him up, and then arrests him. Same exact shit again. Be over 2 hours long. Let's not have anything be funny. And whenever we do try, be over depressing, be over boring. God, I just hate this fucking movie, man. It's the Matrix Resurrections of comedies, or it's the Speed 2 of comedies easily. Happy Gilmore 2 sucks. And almost pretty much a film barely anybody liked. Flopped big time on Netflix. Good luck making more sequels to Sandler properties after that. Good luck. Alright, so before we get to the number one pick, here are the dishonorable mentions.
Attached itself to our family and likes to kill us, and I don't want to die, and presumably you don't want Petey to die either.
And what if I find it, huh? What am I supposed to do? Drop it from a fucking plane? It'll probably bounce.
No.
You plan to retrieve the Barcova from the Sevastopol and destroy the entity. And that scares you. The entity sees infinite possibility.
I just want to apologize if I offended you. For this morning or for last night?
No apology needed. You didn't.
Okay. Because if I did, then that would help me understand.
Dad's jerky. My jaw must have hit on the steering wheel.
Alright, time for the number one pick. Kicking off, and number one, and I can bet you a lot of people are going to know what this is. Snow White, 2025. Number one worst movie 2025, Snow White. Yeah, obvious from the start this would be number one. And no, not because I'm a person that just hates it because I hate Rachel Zegler. No, I hate it because it's an insult to Walt Disney. It's an insult to the golden age of Disney. It's an insult to the original film. It had a horrible production that spelled flop from the start, had horrible CGI and pacing and acting. Disney's 2025 live-action adaptation of Snow White tries to modernize this version, the classic, but it just stumbles in execution. Despite everything else, it fails to capture the magic and charm of the original, and it results in an awful viewing experience. One of the film's shortcomings is a narrative approach. The screenplay introduces themes intended to update the story for modern audiences, but these elements feel forced, disrupt the timeless essence of the original fairy tale. They try to balance traditional storytelling with sensibilities that leads to a disjointed narrative that struggles to find footing, and it went through hell rewrites like, the prince is rape, we can't have him in the movie, so... oh wait, we can't make this movie. Well, we'll just have a love interest that's a thief. We'll be that instead. The CGI dwarfs that look awful looking, the tacky costumes, the bad acting from like Gal Gadot and also Rachel Zegler, and I'm sorry, neither of you two can sing. They cannot. I'm sorry, neither of those two girls can sing. One of the most uninspired, dull things of a fairy tale. There's not a single redeeming quality. In the end, we'll have Dobby talk, which goes against the point of the character. This was clearly going to end remakes, but sadly Stitch happened, so now we're going to still get more of this shit because of that last-minute attempt to make back money. Which sucks. Alright, people. That wraps up the top 11 worst movies of 2025. Now I want to know in the comments down below what you guys think about this list and what your top 11 would be. And until then, that'll be it for this video on Top 11. Thank you all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to Don G. Corleone.